so much. The Southwest Missouri Bears against Illinois State, who finished #1. Here are the starting lineups: Bettenhausen, Holt, Bowie, Moore, and Nelson. And for the #1 seed from Illinois State, Schaefbauer, Smiley, Hill, Muller, and Watkins. So it'll be Illinois State of head coach Kevin Stallings as you look at Steve Alford in his second year as the head coach at Southwest Missouri, and a look at Kevin Stallings, who spent time with Gene Cady at Purdue, and at Roy Williams for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Southwest opens man-to-man. Illinois State will have a lot of motion, a lot of picks on the offensive end. They will look for Rico Hill, their leading scorer. He can go outside, he can go inside.
Won't go, rebounded by Southwest. That's Danny Moore, the sophomore out of Shelbyville, Indiana.
Illinois State will play man-to-man most of the ball game. Will do a little bit of trapping now and then. Go a little zone at you. Last night, Southwest Missouri State did not move with the basketball very well. They will look inside to Danny Moore. He is a threat. Leads his team in scoring over 19 a game.
Bowie got it. Kaliko Bowie, the man who hit the miracle shot last night with 5.2 seconds left to yank a victory away from the Bradley Braves.
Yeah, Bowie loves this building. All tournament last year, they didn't even get out of the semifinal game, and then this year he hit 28 their first night, and then last night he hit the big winner.
Watkins with the miss. Muller gets to Karam, and they set it up with a new 35 seconds. Hill.
One thing I always look for, Ron, early in these kind of situations, the third night that these teams are playing, you want to see if jump shots hit the front of the rim. Illinois State has taken 3 shots. All 3 have hit front iron.
Bettenhausen off the mark from 3, and it's wanted out for Southwest Missouri. Smiley going to push it up the floor, and he misses. And big John Paul Nelson grabs down the rebound.
2 teams that split regular season ball games, but they both like up and down tempo. They want to get easy baskets. Steve Alford has good shooters. They like to push it. If they can get open shots, that's a high percentage.
Boy, score it, and he'll go to the line for a 3-point play. It is Smiley who picks up the foul, his first and the team's first.
Kaliko Bowie off to a terrific start. Smiley a good defender, but Bowie a bit taller. Little hesitation off the window. He hits his first 2, and again, he exploded the other night for 28. Last night he was 6 of 14 from the field, but the game winner from about 25 feet with 5 seconds left.
Paul Casker, the referee tonight. Paul Jansen and Jerry Siebert are the 2 umpires in this, the championship game. Illinois State over their first 5 attempts. They work it inside, and the turnaround jumper is an air ball, and it was knocked out of bounds off the hands of Leroy Watkins. 5-0, Southwest Missouri. You have to think that maybe if this game gets up into the 70s or the 80s, that's to the liking of Illinois State. But Southwest Missouri, as you said, a very good offensive team.
Yeah, Kevin Stallings thinks Southwest Missouri is the best offensive team in this conference.
3-pointer on the way, won't go, and it's Muller who comes away with the rebound, and here you see Smiley again pushing it up.
Smiley loves to push. You have Schaefbauer and Muller, terrific outside shooters. If Smiley can find those guys in transition, they have the green light to pull the trigger.
Watkins has it knocked away. Good job on defense. The shot clock still plenty of time at 14, and now at 13. As Hill is fouled. And let's see, is it going to be Moore or is it going to be Bettenhausen? It will be Bettenhausen who picks up his first foul of the night.
The tough matchup for Southwest Missouri is on Rico Hill. Hill, who averaged 18 points a ball game during the season, had a big output against this SMS team early at 37 points. The reason he's so difficult, at 6'6", he takes you away from the basket. If you come out, he can put it on the floor, go by you. Or against smaller players, he's 240 pounds, he can post you inside. Very quick with his feet, has extremely soft hands.
Kevin Stallings told me at the shoot-around today, he thinks Rico Hill, as long as he's been around college basketball, even when he played, that the youngster has the best hands of any player he's ever seen. Which he said not only aids him in shooting, but John, one of the reasons he handles well for a 6'6" large guy.
Yeah, we watched him last night when he goes away from the basket. He can put it on the floor, one bounce, and go up quickly with a basketball, and you have to have good hands and good eye-hand coordination to do those things.
Coates knocks down the three, his first points of the night. And we are off to an 8-2 start with Southwest Missouri atop in this one.
Yeah, good start for the Bears, because last night offensively they were out of sync. They finally pulled that game out against a very difficult Bradley team, but they're getting involved early, and it hasn't been Danny Moore yet.
Well, you're right. Nelson with his second rebound. John Paul, a sophomore out of Westport, Arkansas, unlucky on that shot, and Watkins will come away with it. Nelson is 7 feet 270 and a transfer from Eddie Sutton's Oklahoma State team. Good pass inside and a high percentage shot from Hill.
You'll notice on the break when Smiley gets the ball, Schaefer goes to one corner, Muller goes to the other. That means the penetration he wants to penetrate and kick either side or force it quickly up there and let Hill fill into the post.
You talked about Hill with 37 in the first game. He had 16 in the rematch. And as his coach says, and he was fouled by Hill. Wait a minute. That's going to be Smiley, and he has picked up 2 quick fouls. What his coach said about him also is this team is so unselfish that they don't care. Hill doesn't care if he gets 37 or if he gets 7, just as long as they win.
Well, they have a lot. They'll play a lot of players. They have a lot of guys that can shoot the ball and a lot of different players that can put points on the floor. When you're guarding Danny Moore, he has 4 inches or 5 inches on Rico Hill. Don't take this ball fake. Make Danny Moore shoot outside. He's a terrific inside player. Shoots nearly 60% from the field, but most of that comes inside. If he ball fakes it from 15, 16 feet, don't take it. Make him beat you from outside.
Steve Hansel has to come in the ball game with the little quarterback. Jamar Smiley goes to the bench with 2 quick fouls at the 15:51 mark. And we will take a timeout. 10-4. Surprising start as the number 3 seeds, the Bears of Southwest Missouri, are out on top.
Missouri Valley Conference 10-4, Southwest Missouri State on top. But I want you to see the transition. Defensively, Illinois State. Watkins shuts off the baseline, the rebound. You'll see Rico Hill at the top of the screen. Smiley pushes. You have one man, Muller up on the right corner, Schaefer lower left. The ball goes inside. Basically, Rico Hill beat Danny Moore down the floor, got low side position. Exactly what Illinois State wants, except they're not shooting the ball well so far this ball game.
Now 1 of 7 as they're out of the gates with a poor shooting night. And their quarterback on the bench, Smiley, went to the bench with 2 fouls as a 3-pointer knocked down by Rico Hill. 7 quick points for him now.
Again, tough matchup. Danny Moore at 6'11", has to fight over a double pick. Couldn't get there soon enough. Rico is a good shooter. Not very good from outside the 3-point line, but capable of making it.
Now that's going to be called against Rob Gibbons, the junior out of Watkins Way in New Jersey.
Trying to be physical inside. Danny Moore, one of the things he does so well is walks his guys in there and gets low post position. We've seen it time and time again the last 2 nights watching this team play. And when Moore catches inside, he is very good at scoring.
Schaefer took an elbow in the mouth. As you look at Nelson drive it to the hoop, and Muller tries to take it away from him, and he stepped on the end line.
Yeah, Schaefer not happy. Kevin Stallings not happy.
Well, he thought his player received a jab to the nose there. Unintentional.
Illinois State a little bit more physical than Southwest Missouri in body strength.
Schaefer against Coates. Shooter. Muller left alone, and Muller scores it.
Schaefer had the ball. Rico Bowie decided to double team away from Muller. His teammate found him. Muller can stroke the long jump shot.
And just like that, from a poor opening in the ballgame, they tied it at 10. The number 1 seed, Illinois State.
You know, Ron, I think we see much more movement than we saw last night out of SMS in the half-court offense.
I don't think there's any question, because we remarked, particularly in the first half, that was a problem. And that is going to be John Paul Nelson picking up the foul. His first 8-2 run by Illinois State. Well, we'll see just how they do without Jamar Smiley. 5 times this year, John, he had 10 assists or better. And one of those 10 assist games was in the game against Illinois State, the one at Normal.
State again runs a lot of picks. First for Schaefbauer and Muller to free them up to some cuts.
Schaefbauer swishes it.
This kid shoots over 40% from three-point line. And he is not afraid to shoot them. He's taken a couple of times this year, taking 13 attempts from beyond the line.
Well, a huge contingent here from Normal, Illinois, and they are up and cheering because the Redbirds got a little bit of a late wake-up call offensively, but boy, they are now up and aroused. And Nelson throws the ball away. Condovender simply couldn't get up there and get it away, and Nelson's going to go to the bench. And Kaliko Pui, with a very short rest, will come into the lineup. Steve Alford said today at the shoot-around the two things they had to take care of tonight, and that is they had to control transition baskets by Illinois State, and also they had to hit the boards a lot better.
Yeah, the one thing about this team, again, is a physical, it's a strong team from Illinois State. They will push and look for early shots, and what that causes a lot of times is offensive rebounds because you're not back defensively.
Boy, they didn't get back and take care of business. Illinois State didn't, and he bombs a three.
I think Kaliko would have liked to play maybe for St. Louis U the way he plays in this building.
The tip inside won't go. They battle Schaefbauer. The hit is knocked out of bounds, and it will stay with Illinois State. Pomeroy checks into the lineup for Southwest Missouri. And number 24, Kyle Hartnell, a sophomore out of Quincy, Illinois, comes in for the Redbirds of Illinois State.
They got Rico Hill with the block.
It's his first, but it's the fourth team foul against the Redbirds. We have 13:05 to play.
Interesting. For Steve Alford's ball club all year, he started William Fauntleroy, the man with the basketball there, and Kevin Ault. Both of those guys are freshmen. And then 6 or 7 games ago, he made some changes and brought some different guys in. Reverse fortunes a little bit. They had a little bit of a losing streak. He brought some veteran players in, and now he brings the 2 freshmen off the bench, and it was Kevin Ault outside shooting last night that probably changed the course of that ballgame.
Danny Moore called for the foul. First on him, the third on Southwest Missouri.
You know, Ron, you've noticed it doesn't take Illinois State a long time to get the ball up the floor and attack the basket. Boy, that looked like a good block by Danny Moore.
Now watch Southwest Missouri, and particularly Ault, who's at the top of the circle, right behind the shooter. Illinois State on this free throws does a nice job of set plays of kicking the ball back out. It's another thing that they worked on long and hard at the shoot-around
You
today.
see Steve Alford put a guy back there. They had 5 guys on the free throw line the first time. It's happened to him a couple times against Illinois State to tip out. All you have to do is put a guy back there, as Steve did, and that usually negates that from happening.
Danny Moore loses the ball out of bounds. He's an all-conference performer, a transfer from Miami of Ohio. When last night, coming down the stretch, his free throw shooting was one of the real keys in the upset of Bradley.
Yeah, continue to get to the free throw line. As much as SMS struggled offensively, it was Alt's outside shooting down the stretch, and the free throw. Good move by Hill.
That's exactly what John was talking about, that Hill, he can kill you on the outside, but he's a great handler, and he can penetrate just as he did then.
I'm not sure if there's a body on Steve Alford's ball club that can stay with Hill, both outside and inside.
Boy, it is rough inside on Danny Moore. Pomeroy has the shot partially blocked. Hill comes down with it.
Rico Hill will trail, has Bowie on. Once they swing the ball, they'll set some picks, try to get Hill on the block.
Muller with the bounce pass, and the big fella, Leroy Watkins, couldn't hold on to it. Let's go to break. 11:48 left of the first half. 17-13, Illinois State. On ESPN. Rico Hill, 9 points, 3 of 6 from the field to start tonight.
Yeah, off to a good start. As you said earlier, he's trying to make a point. He was not MVP of this league, but he has come into this tournament trying to prove a point to everybody.
So Coach Kevin Alt knocks down the long jumper. We were just talking during the timeout. He's a player that's easy to like. Alt is. Fauntleroy goes up for the rebound on the miss by Leroy Watkins.
You think about Alt. Mr. Indiana a year ago reminds me a lot of his coach Steve Alford.
Fauntleroy, and that's twice that Cartmill has blocked him, but this time he was called for the foul. Cartmill very, very quick.
Outside defense, Illinois State does a nice job. Fauntleroy again takes it in there. Cartmill might have got him across the arm.
Yep. Well, Watkins goes to the bench, and very quickly, Rob Gibbons comes back into the lineup. Rob, 6'10", 230. Very much a crowd favorite at home. They like his hustle and what he does when he plays before the home folks as normal. And Leroy getting another breather. He's had a little bit of a tough spell offensively. Leroy's a big fella to get up and down the court in this pace of a game at 265, and I'm not so sure that he's not a few cheeseburgers beyond that.
What I like with Kevin Stallings is give Watkins a rest because he's done such a nice job with Danny Moore out of the ballgame. Rest Watkins because he's done a nice job keeping the ball out of Danny Moore's hands.
Number 11, Steve Hansel from Birmingham, the UK. 5-second count. Good job by Fauntleroy defensively.
Yeah, defensively, Kaliko Bowie denying the swing pass. Offensively, Illinois State comes down, runs a secondary break. They like to swing the ball to the post man. Up top, high post would be Rob Gibbons, but Kaliko Bowie denies that pass. Nowhere to go, 5-second count.
Count Bender, number 23 in the game, a junior out of Washington, Indiana. Or Washington, Missouri, I beg your pardon. Gibbons for three. It almost fell down after he got the shot away.
John Paul Nelson gave him a little nudge as he shot the basketball. You know, he hit one of those last night early.
Yeah.
And he doesn't shoot many jump shots from out there. Has a nice touch, but missed that one. Probably
Kevin Stallings just came off the bench and screamed at Gibbons, "That's not what I wanted you to do in the game. You're 6'10".
That's one of those things. He made the first one he shot last night, so he had a good feeling that this would be the same.
All hangs unlucky on the shot, knocks away and saved.
Alt is a great shooter, folks.
Runner is Zappin, puts it on the floor. Shapauer comes away with it. Skip Shapauer, junior out of Elk River, Minnesota. Transfer from East Carolina.
Yeah, played for Eddie Payne at East Carolina, now at Oregon State. When Eddie Payne left, Shapauer was looking for a place to play, had played against Illinois State, had 10 points in East Carolina's win over Illinois State, and decided he liked how Kevin Stallings' ball club played and transferred here.
First foul on Kaliko Bowie. You know, the other thing that Shapauer brings with him, the all-newcomer team, but also the all-academic team, the 337 in psychology.
I think coaches always worry about those guys in psychology because the players are always trying to figure you out. Isn't that it? Coaches always want you to major in something else besides psychology because then they can figure out what you're trying to do to them.
We're about to hit 9.5 minutes left to play in this first half of the championship game. Nelson can't hold on to it and gets it back out to Fauntleroy. Kaliko Bowie. He hit 28 on Saturday night, and as we said, had the game winner last night with 5.2 seconds left. Tied at 17, 9:20 to play. Illinois State got here by knocking off Northern Iowa, who had beaten them twice during the regular season. For Southwest Missouri, they trailed by 10 twice in the second half last night to Bradley and came on to close it and then win it.
Yeah, Bowie on Hill down low. I think a little bit of a mismatch. Rico Hill a little bit stronger. He's an inch taller than Kaliko Bowie and about 40 pounds heavier. And right away, Illinois State recognized the mismatch and went right to Hill inside.
John Paul Nelson, his second foul.
They simply cleared everybody out and put Hill down on the block. John Nelson tries to help out, and the next time Hill will realize when he's double teamed, he had Rob Gibbons cutting for an easy layup, he can drop it off.
Number 15, Jamar Smiley, who picked up the 2 quick fouls, comes off the bench and is back in the lineup. Also, Watkins back in the game. If Hill hits this free throw, he will already be in double figures. And as John Sunvold told you early in the telecast, he had 37 the first time these two clubs met. That game at the Normal, Illinois.
Shot 15 free throws in that ball game.
The other thing that he did was so impressive. He had 13 rebounds in that first game and 10 in the second. So he has done yeoman's work on both boards in both games.
You know, a player actually they can play 3 or 4 positions for Kevin Stallings. He can actually play a little 2 guard if they need him, but he can play the 3, 4, or 5 positions.
Jay Bauer got a hand on it, almost stolen, and Pomeroy takes it away. Condo bender. Oh my. Reverse under scoop. He's got 2. Pomeroy went down very hard just as they crossed midcourt.
Yeah, how about the screen on Fauntleroy? He's looking at his teammates. Let's take a look at this shot by Condobender. Up, around, under. Nothing to that one.
Second foul on Kaliko Bowie.
I like the reaction. Didn't even act surprised he knocked it in.
Shea Bauer off the mark. And it's going to be Condobender who gathers the loose ball. John, do you remember Condobender from high school at the Washington, Missouri?
Yeah, St. Francis Borgia played on one of the outstanding teams in the state tournament. But I rarely get to see high school games, but I went to that state final. State of Missouri, and his team was terrific. Sheridan basketball. Played with his teammate Hopes.
Condobender, I beg your pardon, gets the rebound and then gets it over to All. Tied at 19.
You know, Danny Moore has not had many touches this first half for this Bear ball club.
He really hasn't. He's had a lot of bodies on him, I can tell you that, and a turnover as they travel. 7:40 left until halftime. We are tied at 19 for the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Tied at 19 with 7:40 left to play in this first half. And Parrish is sitting home said, we're sending all that money so you can matriculate. ESPN2 Women's Championship Week continues. Conference USA Finals. Marquette against Tulane. That is tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the Deuce. Tom Franklin, John Sunvold coming to you from the Kiel Center. Beautiful arena in downtown St. Louis. Smiley, I call him the quarterback. He is really the emotional leader of this basketball team. Good hand inside, and again, Rico Hill shows you he is a big fella body-wise, but he can make that 225 work quickly.
Yeah, good position, but really a good entry pass by Schaefer. You have to play him close because he's such a threat outside. Boy, Leroy Watkins is doing a heck of a job on Danny Moore inside defensively for Illinois State.
All passed up that shot and waited for the defender to jump on him as Moore turns, gets it away, wasn't totally squared to the hoop.
And that's where you want Moore to beat you. From outside the paint area.
There's a push, Fauntleroy.
You talked about Smiley leading this ball club. The quarterback, last night they were 2 points down. He makes the layup against Northern Illinois. Then it's a tie ball game. Next trip down, he makes the layup for the 2-point lead, and eventually they win the ball game. He's the heart and soul, the toughness of this team.
This young fellow right here, they call him Chicken. He's a manager, John Sanders. Steve Walker said, I don't want people to think we're superstitious, but he sneaked in the arena before last night's game. That bench over there had been 0 for 7 in games, and he changed all the chairs around. He went down and took them off the bench that had been winning and moved them down there. Steve didn't know it had happened until after the game, but when that game-winning shot came up, Chicken jumped up and said, see, I told you I'd break the jinx. And Steve said, I don't want people thinking we're superstitious. And then he laughed. He said, actually, it's a pretty good move on the kid's part. John Saunders, Chicken.
He probably, not superstitious, Steve Alford, but he probably checked with Chicken tonight and said, hey, did you make sure the chairs are the right ones?
Yeah, make sure they're in order. Bowie. Goaltending against Hill. So for Bowie, now he is in double figures. And the two guys that we expected to star in this one are doing just that.
Yeah, Coleco already 4 of 6 from the field. Gets it right on the glass. It's coming on the way down. The goaltending call, but Bowie off to a good start.
Steve Hansel, number 11, back in the lineup. Hansel won a new category this year. That is the 6th man, which they started giving in the Missouri Valley Conference. Turnaround jumper by Hill. It doesn't matter if it's right, left, or indifferent.
Yeah, again, mismatched Bowie, just not big and tall enough for Hill, and he's the most mobile, though, that can guard Hill right now.
Bettenhausen. Counted for Kondelbender.
Nice set play by the Bears. Good delivery by Bettenhausen. Hill goes right back to the block. What a pass.
Takes it up strong. Moore got just enough of it. And the foul is called on Bettenhausen.
Rico Hill will get Bowie on his back, and when he does this, he goes either left or right shoulder. It's hard to defend him. This time, watch the entry pass. Away from the defense, he goes right to the rim, misses. They stay with it inside, and Watkins was the first one to get to the ball.
Number 32, Leroy Watkins.
Watkins to the line. Good defense, but you see, hey, steady player. 10 points, 5 rebounds a game. Has 67 block shots during the regular season.
Actually has a pretty nice touch with the ball, only shooting, though, 49% from the free throw line. Now what's tough for Steve Alford? He comes in with John Paul Nelson, a big player, who's at 7 feet tall, and Danny Moore 6'11". Moore will probably match up with Rico Hill, and Hill will move outside now and take Moore with him. Full court pressure by Illinois State.
Almost threw it away. Moore tall enough to grab onto it. And to get it to a guard, and Ott comes up and helps him out. And then loses it. It's on the floor, and the pressure does just what it was designed to do.
Let's see if Rico now moves outside.
Schaefer.
It's a versatile team. They can beat you with a lot of ways, and Schaefer has the green light from anywhere on the court.
Steve Alford wants a timeout. Timeout for the Bears. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left until halftime. It is a 6-point lead, 29-23.
Again, Skip Schaefer has green light. He will release at any time. If you give him a step, he will knock it in. The other things he has done so far this ball game, when they guard him, he has made terrific entry passes down low to Rico Hill. But if Schaefer gets on a roll, if he makes 1 or 2, it's a tough night for the Bears, because now the challenge is which one are you going to pick up?
You know, one of the reasons that they have been so effective, keep in mind, John, they don't have a senior on this basketball team. Everybody comes back next year. But they do have a group of specialists. When you talk about a couple of guys that are defensive specialists, you get Smiley, who's the assist leader 2 years in a row in the conference.
Yeah, Muller as player of the year, defensive player of the year 2 years in a row. So they have some guys that do their job. But right now, so far, the star defensively has been Leroy Watkins inside. Danny Moore can't even get his hand on the basketball.
Kaliko Boyd off the front iron, and the foul is going to be on Watkins, who is flat on his back on the floor.
Doesn't like the call, as most players won't like the call, but Watkins has been working extremely hard. Danny Moore, again, averages over 19 points a ball game, has just had a hard time getting the ball. That one right there seemed like just normal inside play.
Leroy is a very, very big fellow, though. As I said, 265 pounds and compactly built.
And Moore is only 220, so he will feel it by the end of this half. And when he sits down at halftime for a little break, he will feel some bumps and bruises. And tonight, when he goes to bed, he's going to feel a little sore.
Three points now for Danny Moore. Points off turnovers in this ball game, 8-0, Illinois State. Schaefer, he said they got a hot hand, give it to me.
I'll tell you what, that's tough. He came hard off the pick. He stopped on a dime, and the release was quick. He had a man right in his face.
And he didn't have a lot of arc on the ball either, John. Kind of a line drive, but it was just enough to get over the rim. At a 7-point margin for his team. Moore.
That shows a little range for the big fella.
Yep, really
Couldn't get it inside, and then finally stepped outside to get him a look.
Well, you made the point. He's not getting a heck of a lot of looks, so when he gets one, he wants to take it. Shapar finally off the mark on that one. Hansel puts up an air ball, and Watkins right there to follow.
The penetration, though, by Hansel. John Paul Nelson had to help out defensively. Makes for an easy basket, easy tip.
Watkins now with 4. Under 4 minutes to play.
Trapping defense in the half court makes the offense change some things, but Kaliko Bowie is just unbelievable.
Now that's a sweet stroke. 12 points for him now. For those of you who missed it on the Deuce last night, we will show you his game winner last evening as Gibbons is fouled.
Another good pass by Shapar.
Coach picks up the foul. That's his first. And the 19th foul against Southwest Missouri. Shapar goes out, gets a standing ovation from the Redbird faithful.
Gibbons, who gave good minutes last night, semifinal win, had 5 points and a rebound, but does a nice job defensively when he comes in. Will be matched up against Nelson, and now it's Rico Hill that will guard Danny Moore inside.
Bettenhausen, number 10, outside handling. He's got it, puts up the 3, and can't get it to go. Muller rebound.
Had a good look, though. Kaliko Bowie drew the defense, and Bettenhausen will hit those shots.
And if you're not familiar with his club, you say that name is so familiar. Yep, he's from Indianapolis and is from the famous Bettenhausen racing family. Gibbons battling against Moore. Moore gets a piece of it.
Crowd didn't like the call, but they made the change, and it will be Illinois State's ball.
So let's go to break. 2:53 left in this first half. It's a 6-point game, and this man has been on fire. We'll be right back. Conference championship up by 6, Illinois State. Let's show you how Southwest Missouri got here last night. Time running out. You see the clock down. Look at Kaliko Bowie. He is 25 feet from the hoop, puts up this shot with his coach trying to call a timeout and buries it, and that was the game winner. Now, for those of you who have really good memories, the year prior, same 2 teams in the semifinal matchup, and it was Bradley who hit a prayer as the clock ran out, a 3-pointer, and they won that one. So ironic, back-to-back years, semifinal games, they split. Bowie battles for the ball. Does he save it? Knocks it back to Muller.
Boy, Rico Hill, so good off the dribble again. Tough matchup for Danny Moore. He broke him down the first time, just missed the easy jump shot.
Muller for 3.
Not only a defensive player of the year in this conference, 2 years in a row, but a terrific outside shooter.
And you know, he's an all-academic guy as well, a 3.84 in business management.
Coaches, see, now coaches like that. On business, it's fine. Psychology, it's not fine.
Kaliko Bowie can't get it to go. Nelson tries to save it. Boy, Illinois State is 6 of 11 from behind the arc. Southwest Missouri, who's known for shooting the 3, 3 of 11.
Yeah, big numbers really tell the story so far.
Hansel with a bounce pass. Rico Hill. Calumet Park, Illinois, only a sophomore.
Boy, is he trying to make a point in this?
He's got 17 first-half points, and folks, they haven't come easy.
Illinois State 2-3 zone. Have to have body movement, ball movement, try to penetrate inside somewhere in the middle of that zone so you can free up outside shooters. Again, Danny Moore has not had many touches.
Gets one there, put up a line drive.
Looks like he lost the handle going up.
Well, they can push this thing out to a 13-point margin. Hill takes it up. Unlucky on a shot. Nelson rebound.
I think Steve Alford's ball club needs a basket right here. Illinois State fans have had a lot to cheer about.
Condo Bender, he can't get it. Cartmill will rebound. And Condo Bender tries to make the steal and a foul called on Cartmill.
Great hustle. Condo Bender took the three-pointer. Probably not his strength, only a 23% shooter out there. Here's the shot right here, and it goes long. But Southwest stays with it. Condo Bender gets the basketball. Now, that worked that time, but you see 3 maroon jerseys, Southwest Bears on that rebound. They were staying there. If Illinois State clears that ball out of there, they have numbers on the offensive end.
Condo Bender misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Second foul on Cartmill, by the way, who goes to the bench. Well, they tried to do a give and go. They were lucky they got the ball back there.
He wants it back.
Muller from 13 switches it.
A lot of weapons, Ron. A lot of weapons.
They really do. They're a good-looking basketball team. They are up 42-29.
They go back, man-to-man defense. They continue to do just subtle changes in the defensive schemes against Danny Moore, trying to frustrate him. What a shot, though.
More scores. They had a drought for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. As Fauntleroy with a great job of hustling, trying to get the steal. And 22nd timeout is called by Illinois State. Clock, and it's a 42-31 margin, an 11-point burst.
Yeah, this tough. Danny Moore's had a tough time even touching the basketball, let alone getting shots off. And here's the double team, and tries to clear himself a little pass and settles for the fadeaway. He's hit that shot. He's hit an outside jump shot and hit a few free throws, but nothing easy so far for Moore.
Rico Hill looks up at the clock. Got it against Moore. Too hard off the back iron. Condo Bender comes away with the rebound, and I don't know if they can get a shot. Yep, they do get a shot off, but it's short and off the mark. We're at halftime of the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. And look at the numbers on this man. Rico Hill, as we talked about off the top of the telecast, didn't make Player of the Year in this conference, and he's trying to make a statement. Has he ever? 17 points, 2 rebounds, 6 of 15 from the field in this opening 20 minutes. And his club securely on top with an 11-point lead. 42-31. The Bears of Southwest Missouri trailing Illinois State. And let's go back to the studio. Chris Fowler and Digger.
All right, Ryan, thanks. I think Rico's making a statement, hoisting 15 shots in the first half, but the Redbirds have the 11-point lead. Coming up at halftime, plenty of scores.
Halftime, 42-31 our score with Illinois State on top. And the numbers that stick out to me, turnovers are at 5 apiece, but when you look at points off turnovers, 11 points by Illinois State, none by Southwest Missouri. That's the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, you're right. The difference is they're getting the basketball. They push it, and then they spot up. They've knocked in 3-point shots, and that's really the difference. Their shooting from outside has been terrific.
Rico Hill show in the first half, 17 points for him.
It's been Rico in a lot of different ways. He's hit some driving to the basket and goes right. When he gets on the block, you're not sure if he's going to turn right shoulder or left shoulder. He's good with either one. He scores there. And here's a three-pointer. He's only shooting about 16% from beyond the arc, but pretty good. On the defensive end, it's been Leroy Watkins, who has denied the basketball to Danny Moore. Moore just had a tough time inside physically trying to get touches. And frustrating as it is, Moore still has 8 points, but it's been a tough first half.
39% apiece, and you see free throws 10 of 12 by Illinois State. So we're set for second half action here from the Kiel Center in St. Louis. Hill with 17 and Kaliko Bowie with a dozen points in the first half. He had an outstanding 20 minutes.
Yeah, Bowie was out to a quick start, but quiet about the last 8.
Well, they come out of the locker room with Holtz. The set play, and he's got 5 now.
Good way to come out of the locker room for Steve Alford's ball club. Holtz is an outside shooter. Has not had many openings. Didn't have them last night, but tonight a good way to start the half. SMS needs a little bit of a run.
Mahler missed. Hill strong to the hoop, and he was fouled. And that's going to be against John Paul Nelson, his 3rd.
And we saw in the stats that Southwest 3 of 12 from beyond the arc 3-point shooting. They're going to get a lot of looks outside because of the attention Danny Moore draws inside.
You know, we would remind the people that they're watching this game and they say, well, Illinois State looks as though that they have it in hand. Would remind you that Southwest Missouri twice last night were down by 10 points in the second half and came back and won over Bradley.
Yeah, and a lot of people were surprised the next day if they didn't watch the whole game because of 3 or 4 minutes. Bradley seemed to have the game in hand.
Bettenhausen decides to take it back out and reset it. He had numbers, but he also had a huge body in front of him.
Remember, this Bear ball club has outstanding outside shooters. If they get it going, they can cause a lot of problems.
Bettenhausen with his first 2. Hill may just go right to work. They know just keep going to the well.
Yeah, they set a cross pick, and Danny Moore has to do a better job of fighting across and beating Rico Hill to a spot.
That's exactly what Steve Alford is hollering at him right now.
I mean, Danny Moore just allowed Rico Hill walk across the lane, spot up, easy position. He's going to score most of the time down there.
The bouncer to Hill. Smiley comes away with it.
Good decision.
Watkins, you can see they virtually leave him alone out there. Hill, he gets the one-on-one situation he wants, and boy, he can create so well.
Yeah, so effective on the one bounce up for the shot. That is not easy to do. Great shooters can do that. He takes one hard dribble to make the defender start moving his body, and at 6'11", Danny Moore just can't stay with him on the outside.
Down in the first minute and 40 seconds of the second half, he's already got 6 points.
Yeah, and he had the tip away on the defensive play last time down when they passed it inside to Nelson. Hill knocked it away.
23 for him. We're at the 18:04 mark. Hill actually got a hand on that ball and knocked it out of bounds. Shot clock is at 13 for Southwest Missouri. John Paul Nelson. Now let's see. They're pointing at either Hill or at Watkins.
Hill doesn't like the call only because he told the ref he's not trying to do much with Nelson down low. They're going to allow Nelson a lot of looks at the basket and sag off him and do things when he catches in the post, just make him shoot over the top.
Watkins got the foul, his second. Meanwhile, Kaliko Bowie, guarded by Muller. Hangs and tipped in by Nelson. And look at Smiley, takes it right back up the court. Nelson blocked it, but he also fouled it.
Well, I thought Nelson made a good play. Smiley put the pressure on top of SMS to get back defensively. He went by everybody this time.
Yeah, a lot of people still had their heads facing the other direction.
And what you always like your point guard to do is put pressure on the defense. Here's the move by Bowie against Muller. Here's the tip in. Inside position by Nelson, and then quickly Smiley just turns around and puts it right on top of SMS.
So it's 4 fouls on John Paul Nelson, and he'll have to come out. Conabender will check back into the lineup. Number 23, the junior out of Washington, Missouri.
Obviously won't surprise people. Kevin Stallings, an assistant coach for Roy Williams at Kansas. Similar style. They do the same thing, and this is the Jock Vaughn of this team. He takes the basketball, gets it on top of the defense. If he doesn't have it, he brings it out and they get a set. If he can take it all the way, make the defense play it.
Going to stay with Southwest Missouri. Condobender will pull the trigger. 50-37, 13-point lead.
Will stay on Holtz because Holtz is a shooter.
Bettenhausen hustling for the ball, knocks it to Muller. Condobender takes it away and then scoring for more.
Good hustle. I think Bowie had his hand initially on the basketball to free it up.
10 points now for him. Hill outside the arc. Why not? Why not?
I would say, Ron, this kid feels it. It doesn't matter where. Outside, on the block, on the move with the dribble.
It was a two-pointer rather than a three, so he's got 25.
Changing defenses 2-3. They will crap if the ball goes to the wing.
Bettenhausen dishes it back. Condobender. Good ball moving. Kaliko Bowie. Well, Southwest did not like the call, but it was either that or Condobender gets a foul called on him.
You know, against the zone, they did a nice job. Moved the basketball, got the shot they wanted. Bowie had a good look at the jump shot. Now Southwest Missouri goes to a 3-2 zone, 3 across the front. Again, the middle of the floor is where you want to attack this. This guy will attack from anywhere.
Rico Hill misses, and it looks like Gibbons guilty of a foul inside. Celtics a timeout, 15:54 to play in this championship game, and the Redbirds of Illinois State, 52-39. (52-39) Illinois State. And we talked at halftime about Rico Hill and what he's done. He has continued very rapidly here to go into the second half. 8 points already.
Yeah, what a night. 25 on the ball game. He had 37, as we've said before earlier, against this Bear ball club. Just has presented matchup problems for Steve Alford's team.
Well, you consider his team has scored 52 and he's got 25 of them. That's shows how important he is to his club. The tip inside to Kaliko Bowie, knocked out of bounds. And Bowie is saying actually to Condobender, go ahead and get me the ball.
Yeah, out of the timeout, Kevin Stallings changed the defense again to a 2-3. And Steve Alford's team comes back out again. They're going to stay. We're going to see if they'll stay in this 3-2 zone. There's the shooter.
Shafar.
Well, when it's a 3-2 zone, most of the shots you can get are down low on the baseline in the corner because the two men have a hard time guarding. If you overload a side with a guy on the wing like they had Rico Hill, he had to be guarded. They skipped past it. Smiley put it right on the money.
20-second timeout called by Steve Alford.
Schaefbauer has been on a roll. He is 4 of 8 from three-point land, and those kind of things just free up and open up everybody else.
Well, Thursday, the ACC tournament begins on ESPN. Coverage of every game for the first round all the way to the final. Should be an unbelievable tournament with 5 of the top 16 teams in the country competing for the conference crown. The ACC tournament championship week on ESPN. It's coming up on Thursday. That is where it will be for the 8-9 game on Thursday evening. The Schaefbauer picks up the foul.
That will be some tournament. Some of those teams have to get on a little bit of a better feel about their ball club. Maryland and Clemson. Virginia has to probably win a couple to make themselves feel a little better about positioning. North Carolina been on an extremely good roll. Duke has played well.
You look at a club like Florida State and say, you know, are they bubbled? Do they have a chance? I think they beat, what, 4 teams in the top 15 this year.
So there are, Ron, there are a lot of bubble teams this year, which is, that's why it's such a good, going to be a great event and an interesting Sunday night, and the fact that here's a guy whose team is probably on the bubble, and rightfully so. If they don't win this ball game, if they come back and win, obviously they're in. But 24 wins for Steve Alford. They have had a terrific season and rightfully deserve a chance to be in the NCAA tournament.
You wonder if the committee will go with 2 teams for this league, because the one thing, one of these clubs wants to leave here tonight with that wild card in hand, making sure that they have that invitation when they leave the Kiel Center tonight. Well, the current RPI is 41.
Boy, what a job this guy has done. Not unexpected. What a career he's had. Great high school player. Wins at Mr. Indiana, and then he wins a national title, Olympic gold medal, goes to the NBA. I mean, it's not surprising he's successful.
No. And as we talked at last night's ball game, when you look at his roster, he's got 6 youngsters from the state of Indiana. Now, that's not surprising either, because I think every mom and dad in that state know him well.
Recognize that he walks in the door.
Condell, our Schaefer, I beg your pardon, unlucky on the 3.
Good defense.
Danny Moore, and you see the double on him, and then Watkins he moves by him, and then Watkins fouls it.
You know, nothing easy against Illinois State. They're ahead 15, and Southwest Missouri still having a hard time finding openings and good looks at this basket.
See the build on Watkins. He's a very big guy, and he was pleading with the officials, saying that he elbowed me coming around.
The referee said, yeah, you might think so, but I wouldn't think you feel too many of those elbows. But he has done one heck of a job, this guy. Takes a well-rested break.
Rob Gibbons comes in replacing Leroy Watkins. And Danny Moore gets that one to go as well. He's got 13. And it's a 55-42 margin of 13 by Illinois State.
Back to man-to-man defense. Look to Hill Drew Fauntleroy. Big mismatch.
Schaefer.
Fauntleroy, a good defender. We see him last night. He played Parker from Bradley very well that second half. Kept him from getting the basketball.
Shot clock is at 6. Now at 5, and this is the hand you wanted in, and Gibbons lost the handle. And on the Hill, with 1 second on the clock, gets it to go for his 27th point.
Just get the ball in his hands so far tonight. Good things have happened.
Wow.
That one not by design.
Scored for Danny Moore. Right back on top of the defense. Muller too hard off the glass. Ooh. And the rebound by Moore. Here's something to keep an eye open for, John. Illinois State with a 22 3-pointers so far in this tournament. They get one more. They'll tie the record by Southern Illinois in 1995. Danny Moore.
Hard to keep this kid quiet. He has hit difficult shots this evening, and the Bears slowly crawl, and now they're only down 11.
And Gibbons just came down the floor and floored Danny Moore. Now, I'm not sure if he saw him or not. I'm not saying that Gibbons went after him, but he ran into him and knocked him flat.
Well, Danny Moore hits 2 baskets. It did not take Kevin Stallings long to get Leroy Watkins back in this ballgame. Watkins has been the key defensively on Moore. Last time down, you'll see just kind of steps in the way. Takes one. We'll go the other way with the basketball.
Well, it was intentional, but also there was some pretty good acting at the end of that.
Yeah, interesting. See Kevin Alt now in the ball club. We'll see if ball game, see if he can free himself up for a jump shot.
And Alt gets the foul. A nice job by Muller. He had knocked the ball loose. Alt going for it, fouled it. The first on him. But on the Bears, that is their 3rd team foul this half.
Again, I would look for Illinois State to exploit the mismatch of Fauntleroy on Hill. And there they go.
Hill with a quick turnaround. Couldn't get it to go. Watkins missed on the tip. But Danny Moore has scored the last 10 points for Southwest Missouri.
Good save. Great hustle.
Steve Hansel pushes it up.
I think they'll go right back to Hill. When he caught the ball last time, he drew 3 bears.
Put on the line. 2 if it goes. It's not there. .11:52 left in our ball game. Let's take a break. 57-46, and we all know what's at stake. Emotions are high here at the Kiel Center in St. Louis as they battle the Missouri Valley Conference champion. Ron Franklin, John Sunvold coming to you from the Kiel Center in St. Louis. We saw an outstanding game last night in the semifinals, and we're seeing another good one here tonight. 39%. You can see in that first half. Cartmill got his defensive guy totally off. Hit twice by Hill, and he wouldn't go, and Hill is shaken up a bit.
Yeah, Rico went over the back of Fauntleroy a couple times. Southwest is getting what they need on the defensive end. Illinois State has not been able to exploit the mismatch. Rico Hill being guarded by Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy is 6 feet 1 inches tall. Rico at 6'6". Good step up. Moore. Geisher has a knack for scoring. 6 of 8 from the field tonight.
Got 19. A Smiley drive and scored for him. 5 for Jamar Smiley.
Kevin Stallings just told Leroy Watkins, stay on the floor.
And that he did, and he comes away with a rebound.
Look at Smiley, continue to push. Cartmill for 3.
Cartmill touched it last, I believe. Yeah, it'll stay with Southwest Missouri.
Cartmill, a player who likes the up and down action, likes to push, get involved in the offense early. Makes a lot of steals on the defensive end.
By the way, the 25 points, or 27 points by Rico Hill is the most in a championship game since 1991. Cam Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson from Northern Iowa, outstanding shooter. Put a lot of points in that tournament, had 25 that championship game.
Kaliko Bowie kisses it off the glass. 14 for Kaliko. First 2 for him here in the second half. It took him almost 10 minutes to score.
Yeah, he had 10 early in this ballgame. Has been quiet since. Good pass.
Good hands defensively. Fauntleroy got a mid in there and knocked it away. 9-point ball game, and as we told you, the Bears of Southwest Missouri pulled off an absolute miracle last night as Bradley seemed to have that game in hand.
Boy, this kid is quick.
Fauntleroy. The kick out, and that 3 is not there. Bowie with the rebound, and here they come running with Fauntleroy. Fouled by Muller. And of course, Southwest Missouri wants an intentional foul, but they're not going to get one.
Southwest doing it on the defensive end, and William Fauntleroy has been involved in that, and now on the offensive end. The sweet crossover dribble, the pull-up for the jump shot. The freshman has ignited Southwest into a little bit of a roll.
Timeout called by Illinois State.
How things change. And defensively, credit Steve Alford. He put Fauntleroy on Rico Hill, which looked like a mismatch from the point, but Hill has not scored since Fauntleroy has matched up against him.
John Championship Week continues tomorrow here on ESPN, and this is what we'll see, 7:30 Eastern Time. The MCC Championship, Butler will take on Illinois Chicago. And then followed at 9:30, we'll head to Little Rock, Arkansas for the TCBY Sun Belt Championship. Louisiana Tech against South Alabama. That one at 9:30.
Southwest with a lineup in there that could be dangerous. One, because Moore and Bowie are now scoring a little bit. Fauntleroy being good off the dribble. Kevin Alt is a kid that can stroke it from outside.
Well, you see the run, 10-2 by Southwest Missouri. And this man at the line, as John pointed out, has had a big hand in that run.
From Gary, Roosevelt High in Gary, Indiana, same high school, the former SMS star Winston Garland, who went on to play a number of years in the NBA. One of the great players for Charlie Spoonhour when Spoonhour was down at SMS and went to the NCAA tournament a few years.
6-point ball game. It's been a while since it was this close. Jamar Smiley dishes to Muller, and a foul on the play, and Fauntleroy is the man that he's pointing at, isn't he? It looks like
no,
we have
he's
going to call a charge. You're exactly right.
Fauntleroy came weak side and took the charge.
Now that's the third on him.
Smiley likes the penetration. Anytime he leaves his feet, though, players have a tendency they can slide underneath and take the charge. That time it's our guy Fauntleroy again.
Smiley got 2 fouls very early and had to go to the bench, so he has gone a while without picking one up. Shafar comes away with it. Under 10 minutes left. Hill has him open, and he can't get it. Gibbons battles and comes up with the basketball.
Good job by Gibbons. Danny Moore has to have that rebound for Southwest.
Plenty of time on the shot clock because of Gibbons grabbing the rebound.
I'll tell you what, Fauntleroy is just bothering Smiley.
He's called for the foul, but John mentioned his impression is left indelibly on number 15, Jamar Smiley. 2 fouls now with Fauntleroy, and he comes out of the game to a well-deserved round of applause.
Yeah, nice job defensively, and then he scored a few points, and he's got his ball club within 6 with plenty of time on this clock.
Well, Illinois State's got to get that shooting touch back. Here's Muller, not there. Bettenhausen skies for the rebound. Illinois State has missed 9 of their last 10 shots.
Looks like they got Condobender.
Condobender with the offensive foul as he charged into the lane.
You know what's frustrating about that? Before Condobender had the ball, Bowie might have had a layup attempt, but he shared the basketball, and actually, if the pass doesn't go to Bowie, on the weak side is Kevin Alt, one of your best 3-point shooters. If you just make the simple play, they might have knocked him a 3.
It could have cut this thing to a 4-point game, too. And they get that opportunity again. Coleco Bowie.
Kevin Alt to open again. They didn't find it initially. Good pass.
Condobender. Gibbons fouled him, and that's 4 on Rob Gibbons now.
Bettenhausen good with the basketball. The all-bench team, though he has started the last 2 ball games. What a feed. Put a little spin on it. Little top spin, little side spin, so it kicked to his teammate. Bettenhausen has brought them back in this ball game and brings a lot of energy to his team. We saw that last night. Plays with a lot of emotion. Southwest Missouri, very good free throw shooting team, 72.5%. You would expect that because none of them can outshoot their coach from the free throw line.
Well, Condobender gets them both, and take a look. 4-point game. I mentioned in last night's semifinals, twice they were down 10 points in the second half, and they came back and won it over Bradley. Hill, not there, and he's gone cold. Shafar for 3.
Well, how big? How big is that one? But you know what? They got 2 attempts. SMS has to have that rebound.
Danny Moore. And
just simply miscommunication by Illinois State getting back, and that's one guy someone should know they have.
Smiley penetrates and scores.
Seemed to have a hard time keeping him out of the paint area. 2-3 zone now by Illinois State.
7 points for Smiley. Condolbender deep underneath the hoop, and he'll kick it out off the three.
Alt's the shooter, and as a freshman, we found out last night he's not bashful and he's not nervous about taking the big shots.
Bowie wants it cross court. He gets it. He'll put up the three. It shows why he wanted it so desperately. 17, Kaliko Bowie.
Yeah, he held his follow-through all the way through half court.
(64-60). And as you watch it, just like a golfer, you know when he's hit it well off the tee, he poses. What Kaliko did. 4-point game, 64-60, Illinois State. Don't forget, on Wednesday, the 1997 AT&T Big East Championship kicks off on ESPN. A wire-to-wire coverage of what's going to be a free-for-all, with every game having critical importance for teams looking to go to the postseason tournament. The 1997 AT&T Big East Championship beginning on Wednesday on ESPN.
Yeah, you talk about some important games in the Big East. There's some teams fighting to get in.
This guy right here has had an outstanding year, 23-5. Kevin Stallings' club, though, they want this championship here tonight. Right now, though, Southwest Missouri has battled back to within 4.
Oh, great defense. Stepped out of bounds. Great help defense. They double-teamed as Rico Hill made his move to the baseline. Danny Moore cuts him off, and here comes the defensive help. Is that Fauntleroy again on the defensive play? We have said his name a lot this second half.
11-9 turnovers in the game. Boy, Hill is really battling with Moore inside. But the three knocked down. Wow. We got a whole new ball game. 64-63. Condolbender has them up and cheering.
Bauer has hit 5 out of 10 3-pointers.
By the way, his last one tied the tournament record of 23 during this Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Hill for three.
Well, he had missed 4 shots in a row. Good players continue to do good things, and he stepped up, took the big shot.
29 points for Hill, and he steals it at the other end. And Fauntleroy called for the foul.
Boy, Steve's not happy with that. Hill made the steal and just kind of threw it quickly.
He almost got a foul on Jamar because he lobbed it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Under 5 minutes. 66-63 to the Redbirds of Illinois State, and another turnover.
Condolbender hit one last time, and he was, as he trailed the play, he was open again.
Moore. Foul by Muller, and an opportunity for a 3-point play, which would tie this ball game.
As much as Moore cannot stay with Rico Hill on the defensive end, Rico Hill cannot stay with Danny Moore down low on the post. He gives up 5 inches, and we said earlier, Danny Moore shoots nearly 60%. When he catches the ball inside, he's very effective of getting it to the hole.
I apologize, I called Muller. It's Rico Hill who got the foul. Now Danny Moore doing a heck of a job keeping his team in it, and we are tied.
Rico Hill out. I think Shea Bauer becomes the
Go Bowie. Falls to turnover. He'll put up the three, and it won't go. Muller grabs the rebound for Illinois State.
I'm not sure that's a shot. They were 2 on 3, and they've had momentum. They've had success going down low.
Watkins.
They've had success going down low, Ron, and that shot from Bowie was probably just too much of excitement. Back to the 2-3 zone by Illinois State. Good hands. I think that was tipped away by Hansel.
Muller fouled by Condolbender. Well, a 16-point lead. That was the largest bulge by Illinois State, and it happened here in the second half. And we were tied just a moment ago, and now it's a 2-point lead for the Redbirds. Schaefbauer injured. Watkins was on the floor, literally holding him up. And he walked off under his own power, but the trainers, you can see, looking him over on the bench. Looks like he may have taken a shot to the face.
Yeah, might have gotten an elbow in the head somehow. Muller, an 82% free throw shooter.
The ball tipped out, and there's the play I talked about. Southwest working on today. Pomeroy called for the offensive foul.
See if they wipe out the basket. They do wipe out the basket. Pomeroy is on the floor.
Pomeroy shaken up. So let's take a break. 3-point lead, Illinois State. 3:31, 69-66, a 3-point game as Pomeroy is having to be helped to the locker room. We'll get a report on him. And let's look at foul trouble. He is one of those with 4. Pomeroy and Nelson. And Gibbons with 4. Watkins and Smiley for Illinois State with 3 apiece.
Well, they just took William Fauntleroy off the court. Headed to the locker room. Looked like he got his wind knocked out of him probably.
And they had an ice pack out there on the floor, and obviously some residue still there, so we want to make sure that nobody slips and falls.
There's the charge. The ball had not left when they called a charge. SMS needs to stop. Only down 3.
Shot clock is at 15. Hill gets it with 10. Gets that screen. 3 on the way, and he kisses it off the glass.
Hoskett is on a roll. He missed 4 shots. Now he's made 2 in a row. That one, simple John Wooden basketball right there, Ron. He went to the side and knocked it right in.
31 points for him. Condolbender, can he answer? No. Hansel comes down with the rebound at the 2:37 mark. 5-point lead for Illinois State.
Smiley has had success breaking him down.
Back to Watkins, and he traveled.
Smiley's been able to get the basketball in the paint here, but not being able to finish on layups, and when he's made some passes, his teammates have not helped him out.
Go Boyd inside to Moore. Turnaround jumper, it's there.
Danny Moore has 26, 9 of 12 from the field. Showing why he was Valley Conference Player or Newcomer of the Year.
John, I'm having trouble deciphering what.
I guess they got Danny Moore on a push down low on the block, but Danny Moore was shocked because he didn't think he was involved.
Steve Alford was shocked as well. But you're right. That's who they've called it on.
You know, Watkins makes the move. He makes the hook right here.
Yeah, I think that's what he got. He did.
And then Moore lets him go. And he wasn't quite sure when the whistle was blowing.
I think that's it. But he did hook him at the beginning of the play. Under 2 minutes to play. 72-68, 4-point margin.
Illinois State foul. Leroy Watkins.
Well, Leroy has just picked up the foul, and that's 4 on him. 17 foul. And the guy that Kevin Stallings said today we want to keep off the free throw line is at the free throw line.
He had 24 attempts in the 2 games in regular season against Kevin Stallings ball club, and he has been there. This is his 10th attempt in this ball game.
Well, Fauntleroy back out of the locker room and back in the ball game. Moore gets the second one. 3-point game, 1:40 to play.
Fauntleroy and Smalley have had a pretty good matchup when they're in there together. Quickness against quickness.
Muller at 15. Moore comes down with a rebound, and here come the Bears. They can either tie it or cut it to 1 in this trip. And a 20-second timeout called by Southwest Missouri.
Good call by Steve Alford, trying to get something set on this possession, making sure everyone's on the same page. Minute 10 left, down 3, big possession for the Bears. Danny Moore's been the guy, though, inside that Illinois State has not been able to contain. When he catches it down low, he's scored or he has been fouled, so expect him to be involved in the play somehow.
Well, the conference commissioner and the Elgin Factor conference RPI ranked number 10. Expanded to 11 clubs with the basketball tournament successfully to a neutral site, admitted women's sports, and also really responsible in a huge way for the regional that's going to be here next year at this arena.
Yeah, Doug has done a great job, and this tournament has grown every year. The crowd support this year has been terrific, and they have had some great basketball going on and some close finishing.
60 seconds left in this one, and they throw it away. Well, to show you the history of this one, since 1989, the championship game in the Missouri Valley Conference has been decided by 3 points or less 4 times.
You know, tough turnover by Bowie. He has Moore posted up inside. All he has to do is take one more bounce and get a better angle. He doesn't do that. Ball goes out of bounds. Look for Rico Hill maybe to post up.
Muller, he gets 4 outside. The shot clock now at 10. Rico Hill tries to create, can't do it. Condolbender comes down with the long carom. And the game clock is off. There are 26.5 seconds left in this one. We'll take a break. We'll come back for the decider right after this. Well, our score, 72-69 with 26.5 seconds left. This is what happened last night. Number 3 seeds have been very, very difficult in this tournament. This is the closing moment, and watch what happened with Kaliko Bowie. 5.2 seconds left. This is the game winner against Bradley. If they can do that tonight, as you look at what number 3 seeds have done in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, right now they need a 3 for the tie to send this into overtime.
Yeah, you see in 92 they won. That's the last time they've been to the NCAA tournament. Lost to Michigan in that first round game. We'll see what they can come up with on a set play. Expect more, but they need 3 points.
Oates picks up the dribble, gets it to Moore. He will take it straight to the hoop, and the tip.
I think the ball is close to being on that rim. I think this is a great call. It looked like from our angle that ball was on the rim, though Bettenhausen only 6'1", nobody blocked him out. Take a look at this shot. Watch where this ball is. Sitting on the rim, up on top. Good call. Quickly, Kevin Stallings gets Leroy Watkins out of the ball game. Only a 49% free throw shooter.
Jerry Seifert, the official that made that call, and the whistle here in the foul against Southwest Missouri, and now only 10.1 seconds left, and Illinois State heads to the line.
You know, interesting. If they don't push Hansel on that play, he doesn't get the ball. I mean, it comes off his leg. It's heading out of bounds, but they shoved him because you know you have to foul quickly. That was close. .78% free throw shooter. 10 seconds left. 3-point lead. Is 2 of 2. From the line tonight. That one was way off.
Got it. 4-point game. Under 10 seconds to play. Bettenhausen stands it. 5.4 seconds left, and it. Well, let's see. They still haven't put it up on the scoreboard. A 1-point game, 73-72.
Yeah, this team will not quit. Bettenhausen just pushes it straight up the floor. Smiley does not want to foul, but doesn't even challenge the shot. The Bears will not go away.
Sports Center coming up next. Larry Beal and Steve Levy standing by, and they'll talk about tournament action so far today, and we get ready to move on to more action later this week in championship week. 2 full timeouts left for Illinois State. 1:20, now for the Bears of Southwest Missouri.
Well, obviously you go for a steal, but you make the foul quickly. Waste no time and make Illinois State, even if they make 2 free throws, you're going to have a chance to tie the game with a 3-pointer. If they don't make 2 free throws, you have a chance to win or tie it with a 2-pointer. If they only make 1, or if they miss both of them, you have a chance. So Steve Alford right now is putting some things on this piece of paper that says, here's what we want to do, and here's where we want the ball, and to push it, make or miss, they have to get the ball up quickly. You know, Ron, is there any, there will be some doubt if the loser of this game doesn't get in the tournament, but boy, I would pencil them in. They have had, both teams have had outstanding years. This game has come down, and it's been close all the way. These two can play with a lot of teams in this country.
And when you consider they split during the regular season, and you factor those points, almost identical margins at each other's home court, and right now they're playing to a 1-point game with 5.4 seconds left. They are very, very close in ability.
Yeah, Illinois State now spreads the floor. Good play, good pass.
Kaliko Bowie picks up the foul. 4.2 seconds left now.
Good job by Muller. He just sealed his man. Stayed there. Rico Hill used the full lane. Just came over, made the simple bounce pass. Muller held off. Catches the basketball. Muller 82% from the free throw line.
Muller has got 9 points in this game.
Only 1 of 2 from the line this evening. Again, Southwest Missouri State has an opportunity. Now down 2. Even if they're down 3, they have a chance to get this game to overtime. If he misses this one, they have a chance for overtime or a victory.
Got to happen quickly, John. 4.2 seconds left. It's up, and he got it. They got to hit a 3. Boyd. Bettenhausen has it taken away by Jamar Smiley, and this one is history. The Redbirds win their 4th straight game, but most importantly, they have captured their 3rd Missouri Valley Conference title. The others coming in '87 and in 1990. For John Sunbull, Ron Franklin saying so long from St. Louis. Our final 75-72 Illinois State. Sports Center is next with Larry Beal and Steve Levy. So long, everybody.